We're going to put $475 million of it towards loans in both the low-income and middle-income spaces, $25 million into philanthropic grants to address homelessness. It really addresses a problem that has been important in Puget Sound, but across the country in a number of tech hubs. Jobs have grown, housing hasn't kept pace, prices have risen, low and middle-income people are being pushed out. It's bad for the community, and that makes it bad for business.
And Brad, tell us how we got to this point, because I read in your op-ed that when Microsoft first picked the Puget Sound area, 1979 as your HQ, you had less than 30 employees.
What we've really seen is explosive growth in parts of the economy, perhaps in the tech sector more than any other part of the economy. That has absolutely reshaped the economy of Greater Seattle or Puget Sound. It's reshaped Northern California. It's reshaped the Research Triangle in North Carolina. It's reshaped the area around Boston. And you start to see some common trends. Jobs rise, people move in, but housing doesn't necessarily keep pace. And of course, when that happens, prices rise. And so it really calls for new strategies. In our view, it really requires more capital, changes in public policy, perhaps more than anything else, public-private sector work together to start to turn this around.
So Brad, is part of this $500 million pledge driven by a sort of sense of guilt at Microsoft at being in part a cause of the problems that have arisen?
Well, I think it's a sense of responsibility and, frankly, gratitude. I mean, Microsoft has enjoyed enormous success in part because of broad community support. We have almost 50,000 full-time employees in the Greater Seattle area, and we couldn't have succeeded without great communities, great schools, first responders. They are the people that make every community healthy. And I don't think you can necessarily say that it was the private sector's responsibility to build housing. You hope that the marketplace will go to work. That's usually what has worked over American history. But when you have a problem like this, when you have a deep hole, which we now confront in this region, a gap of over 300,000 affordable housing units, I think it calls on the whole community to come together. We have a strong balance sheet, and we can put it to work.
But does it call other businesses, Brad, together? You know, when Mark Benioff started really campaigning hard for Prop C in San Francisco, the business community was against him. He won 60% majority, and now businesses have to pay a tax to help fight homelessness. Is that something you would advocate for in your area, you know, in Washington or in Seattle, or would you prefer moves like this? I mean, are Amazon and Starbucks going to do this after you?
I think you always have to ask two questions. Are we addressing the right problem, and are we addressing it in the right way? The first thing we have to do is bring people together to all focus on the same problem together, affordable housing. Once you do that, there's always a set of options that you can pursue. Certainly, public funds play a role. But the truth is, this problem has gotten so deep that there's no way the public sector can solve it simply by taxing and spending. It doesn't mean that taxes are necessarily to be avoided, but they can never be sufficient, in our view, to solve this problem. We need market incentives. We need zoning changes. We need to incentivize lower and middle income housing. We need capital. We're bringing capital to the table. Different solutions may make sense for different communities or for different companies. One of the good things about being proactive as we are today is we get to take the initiative. One of the key things we did today in Puget Sound is we partnered with local mayors, with the county and with the state, all coming together around a common framework and plan for a combination of private and public action.